I see my kids every maybe like 4 times a week.
Okay.
I see them pretty often, and she's trying to take my kids and move off to Florida.
Okay.
And Your Honor, I'm not going for that.
All right. Did she tell you why she was trying to move to Florida?
Because she just want to live her best life.
She said that?
That's what it is. She want to go to the beach, drink coconut balls or whatever they have out there in Florida, and just have her best life.
Okay, wait a minute. So did she actually tell you that, or are you interpreting her as living her best life?
Your Honor, why would anybody else want to move to Florida? That's Paradise City.
Well, I mean, I kind of want to move too, but I can't go.
You know what I'm saying?
Because I got to work. So could it be for a job?
You know, Your Honor, I haven't asked, because when she told me that she wanted to move to Florida, I got so upset about the fact of losing my kids that I was like, are you moving to Florida for like vacation time, or just so you can live your best life, or because we in Texas? I'm in Texas. I'm a good dad.
So what did she say to that when you said, are you trying to move to Florida to live your best life?
She said, you shouldn't have messed up.
What did you do?
It's a long story, Your Honor. I could tell you how we split up, but
This courtroom drama gets intense. The woman you're seeing on screen wants to move to Florida with 2 of her children, whom she shares with the man seated here. Her main goal is to leave Texas behind and start a new life in Florida, hoping to live her best life. However, the judge quickly catches her in a lie, and watching her attempt to dodge the truth is both frustrating and entertaining. The man, understandably, feels conflicted. She's demanding child support, but with her plans to move nearly across the country, it raises questions about whether it's fair for him to continue paying under these circumstances. It's clear she's not fully grasping the situation. Let's dive into the video and watch as the judge decisively calls her out, laying down the law in a way that makes it clear just how delusional her demands really are.
The fact that he didn't even bother to mention our children's names should tell you everything about our relationship.
Well, he told me the ages.
Yeah, well, that's great. Robert and Madison, that's with a Y.
But she didn't ask for the kid.
Okay, yeah, I get it. Anyway, so going back to, evidently I'm just going to Florida for a permanent vacation. I'm actually going for a job.
All right.
So what's that job?
Robert, and I'm going to be a marine biologist.
So when this dream come apart? Because you ain't had this dream when we met.
See, exactly. Do you ever listen?
Miss Adams, I need you to talk directly to me, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
And Mr. Morris, I've given you an opportunity to speak. Let me hear what she has to say.
You're right,
and
Judge,
people can change dreams. I mean, depending on how long you guys have been apart, a lot could have changed in her life.
It's just she taking my kids, Judge.
Okay, well, let's hear what she has to say.
Right.
She said marine biologist, right?
Yes.
That sounds like a really good job, and I want to hear about it. See how much money she makes.
She just having random dreams, Judge, but it's all
okay,
good.
that's great, but I need to see how much money she's making.
Right.
Okay?
I'm sorry.
All right.
Yeah, less talking, more listening.
And you do the same thing. All right, now continue.
Jesus.
So I'm taking the kids to Florida because I have a greater job opportunity.
Okay.
And, you know, it's so interesting to me that he says that he sees the kids 4 times a week. I guess he's talking about maybe a FaceTime call or seeing them on his phone screen, because I certainly don't see him picking up the kids and taking them to the doctor and cleaning up vomit in the middle of the night. So it's great that he thinks that that he's paying for the right to see his kids, and that there are people who don't pay child support and who see their kids a whole lot, Judge. That tells you everything you need to know about the transactional nature of relationships. I guess he just thinks that money goes on trees, or that kids just eat for free. It's not how it works. This isn't TGI Fridays. So the cost of living is going to be higher in Florida.
All right, what are we looking at?
So my rent is going up from $2,000 a month to $2,800 a month.
Okay.
Because I have to have a 3-bedroom, because Robert and Madison need their own bedrooms. And of course, I have to pay for flood insurance and other things like that.
Okay. All right. And you mentioned food.
Yeah, so the kids eat organic.
Okay.
And they're vegan. And so my grocery bill for them is already close to $800 a month.
Okay.
So his opinion that $880 is too much for the kids is wrong. It is a wrong opinion, because your children deserve the nutrition they need to grow up big and healthy and strong so they can be college athletes like you want.
I'm not sure what you all think, but honestly, I don't really see vegans as the strongest people on the planet. When I think of vegans, I often picture people who are really skinny and tend to lean more liberal. That's just the impression I've gotten, but I know it's not always the case. Now, when I see this woman demanding so much money from this guy, it honestly doesn't make sense to me. We'll have to hear what the judge has to say about her claims, but to me, it seems like there's something off about it. A lot of these courtroom clips, especially the ones involving family law, tend to be from the US because we have this crazy issue with divorce rates here. It almost feels like women tend to win in court, especially when it comes to custody and child support. But in this situation, where the woman is planning to move from Texas to Florida, things get complicated. She's lying, as we'll see in a bit. The judge calls her out for not having that dream of being a marine biologist when they were together, which is very suspicious. I mean, no one just wakes up one day and decides they want to be a marine biologist out of nowhere. It usually takes time to figure something like that out, or she's moving her kids to Florida, and she's already in the process, so there's really no turning back. Meanwhile, this guy, who sees his kids 4 times a week, will now have no access to them. That just doesn't seem fair to me. I don't know about you, but it feels like men are getting the short end of the stick in the court system these days. It almost seems like they have no voice anymore. I'm not sure how things were in the past, but recently, it seems like divorce rates have skyrocketed. A lot of it can be traced back to societal shifts, like the feminist movement and a general loss of values. It's sad to watch, honestly, and I think we could all benefit from bringing more traditional values back into the picture to prevent things like this from happening, but I digress. Let's jump back into the video to see what else she's lying about and hear what the judge has to say.
He said that he sees the children now 4 times a week, and you're saying that's not true, except for like a FaceTime video or something like that.
He sees the kids on an inconsistent basis.
That's a lie, Your Honor.
Okay. So when you say inconsistent, right now, do you all operate under a standard order where it's like first, third, and fifth?
He has every weekend, and I have during the week.
Okay, so every weekend he has.
Right.
Okay. During that every weekend, it's inconsistent, is what you're saying?
I mean, it's just all over the place. He just comes and goes and sees the kids whenever is convenient to him, or maybe his girlfriend like turns him down for a date or whatever.
Okay, so that was petty.
What girlfriend you talking about?
We didn't have to go there. We didn't have to go there. So is that what the issue is? Like, you're still mad at him about that story that he told?
Well, okay, so he put in a bid for an upgrade, or the upgrade put in a bid for him, or whatever, and now I have to explain to our son why our family fell apart.
Oh, so it's some hurt feelings there. Okay, I understand. So in your court order, do you have a geographic restriction because dad lives here?
Yes, but he moved just outside of Ellis County, so he's just outside of the geographic restriction, so it's technically lifted, Your Honor.
Okay, and technically is what you said, but is that what your court order says?
Well, the court order says Dallas and contiguous counties, and he moved like a mile on the other side of the Ellis County line.
Okay, and I do have a copy of your court order here, and it doesn't mention that it's automatically lifted.
Oh, okay. Well, I was just thinking it was the one that.
O is right.
Thank you, Your Honor.
O is right. What?
I'm sorry.
O is right, because you can't just leave. You can't just do that. You actually have to ask permission to modify this order, like he did.
Well, can I modify the order to move to Florida?
Did you file anything for today?
I mean,
It's a yes or no.
No.
You can't just move. So let me tell you what we're going to do, because I think this is the fair thing to do. Regardless to whether you say his visits are inconsistent, he say they're consistent, The reality of it is when you move to Florida, he can no longer have access to those kids. So even if he were coming this day, and did every weekend, he won't be able to do that anymore now that you are going to move to Florida. So what I'm not going to touch is your custody arrangement. Not going to touch that at all. This is a child support court. That has nothing to do with us, okay? So I'm not going to touch it at all. You are free to move to Florida. However, he's coming off child support. So then he can use the money, the $880 or so that he would give you for child support. He can use that to travel to actually see the kids.
But what if he doesn't, Your Honor?
Well, if he doesn't, then after some time of him not doing it consistently, and when I say consistently and consecutively, it needs to at least be about 6 months or something like that, right? Then you can come back and let me know, Judge, he's not exercising regularly. I need some support for these 2 kids, right? But absent anything like that, I believe that's in the best interest of the children. And quite frankly, that's fair. You're moving without permission, right? Yeah. Which is a violation of your court order. So it's only fair that he stops paying child support. So beyond a reduction, he's coming off child support.
I have to admit, there's something really satisfying about this situation. I'm not anti-women or anything like that, but watching this unfold feels like instant karma. You can clearly tell this woman was trying to be sneaky. She didn't come to court to talk about her plans to move to Florida, and she never mentioned any of it beforehand. It just seems underhanded, especially considering she was already asking for more child support. Even though the guy was paying a significant amount already, it really highlights the mindset some women seem to have when it comes to child support these days. It feels like some try to manipulate the system to get whatever they want, just because they assume the courts will side with them. But props to this guy. Hopefully he still gets to see his kids. If not, well, at least he now has an extra $11,000 to spend however he wants. Honestly, you could tell she was upset about his new girlfriend. That came up during the conversation about the bid, and she definitely seemed a little jealous. But that's just my take. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. It's women like her who make the court system tougher for mothers who genuinely care for their kids and are facing real challenges. I have full sympathy for women in those situations, especially when they've been left behind or are doing their best. But in this case, it's clear she was trying to manipulate the situation, and it just didn't play out the way she expected. I really enjoy moments like this, where entitled people get called out. Just think about it. The audacity to come to court, likely start the hearing just to try and increase child support, and act like she deserves more because she's moving. It's obvious she needs more money, especially since she's not actually a marine biologist like she claimed. I don't need to be a scientist to figure that one out. Honestly, she looks more like someone who'd be working as a bartender than studying dolphins. But hey, that's just my opinion anyway. This was a pretty entertaining one, and seeing her get shut down by the judge was satisfying. Let me know if you felt the same way. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to drop a like. I really appreciate it. Thanks for watching, and as always, take care everyone.